welcome to Stay Smoky TV, Baltimore and the DMV's #1 cigar-related podcast. I'm Ron, a.k.a. the Urban Leaf, a.k.a. Mr. Stay Smoky himself, a.k.a. Top Shelf Ron, a.k.a. They hate me because they ain't me, a.k.a. the Cigar Goat, a.k.a. Podcast Spike Lee, a.k.a. my humidor is better than yours. That's it for today.
That's it for today.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
You ain't got one more?
That's it.
All right.
A lot.
What's up, y'all? It's Dre No Smokes, man. Coming to y'all from the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And today we got a special guest. One of my brothers from my blue, not your blue. You know what I mean? Kind of raised me in the correction game back in the day. So that's my man Q. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
All right, so I'm Quinton Myers. Everybody call me Q. If you know me for years, they call me Quincy. And then some people call me Lockdown. That's my tag on Facebook.
Yes, sir. Lockdown Miles.
I'm a retired correctional officer. Now I am a certified registered nurse practitioner working in mental health. I've been doing that for the past 8 years. I have my own practice, which is Myers Health and Wellness LLC. And I work at a couple other places where I'm in medical field.
Okay, so yeah, we got Q on here because June is Men's Health
Awareness
Mental Health Awareness Month. So before we get into that, what you got over there, Dre? What you smoking?
Well, I'm smoking this stick that was gifted to me by Rel. I forget what episode it was, but we was at Fire and Smoke that day.
Mr. Brownleaf Cigar.
Yeah. I believe it was Ramadan during that time, or I was getting over being sick. For some reason, I wasn't smoking, but he gifted this to me. It's a Tiger Lily. It's made by Black Work Studios. It's a barber pole. I'm gonna get into that. I know he really enjoyed it. He says one of his go-to smokes, so I'm gonna see what it do for me. I'm gonna pair it with some Uncle Nearest 1884.
All right, I got this Padron 97, Padron Black 97 Torpedo, and I'm gonna pair mine with some Sam Adams Utopias.
Some bullshit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And so I was gifted this from Marcus. This is a Liga Pravada, number 10. And it's made by Drew Estates. And I'm going to pair it with the Uncle Nearest 1884.
All right.
That's what's up.
So, like we said, this is, how am I saying it? This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So we got Q on here. So is anything like voluntarily you would like to share in your experience? Well, actually, you actually experienced it from your previous career and now. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, you can give us some stuff.
So the main thing is that I want to normalize mental health. All right? So there's 4 of us in here right now. About 1 out of 5 people walking around with mental health issues. All right?
Well, we know what that is.
And that's before the pandemic. After the pandemic, it might have stretched to 1 out of 4 people. So it's normal. The same way if somebody had asthma, they would use an inhaler. And this is one of the things I actually say to people. If you were having an asthma attack, you would use an inhaler. If you're having mental health issues, you can use medication. It's okay to do that. And so we as men, sometimes we'll say, we're good, but it's good to have a therapist. And if you're at the point where you need medicine, it's good to take medicine. Part of the reasons I do this is I work in communities, in bad communities. I work in White Marsh. Both of the owners where I work, both of them are African American. But I like for my people to see somebody doing what I do, so they can know that I came from the same struggles they came from, dealt with some of the same things they deal with, and you can make it out of it.
Okay, that's respectable.
Let me say that. You mind if I say something, bro? I know you the quarterback. I know you the quarterback.
What the fuck you want, Drake?
All right, let me take a sip. Man. Let me take a sip.
Yo, you good?
No, I gotta get some.
Well, Ron, you called me last night, and you said, bro, I'm thinking about bringing Q on, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, blah. I'm like, okay. You know, I didn't know actually that little background that Q just dropped, I didn't know. You know, as far as your career now.
Yeah.
Right? So, what I was thinking when Ron called, and I was debating if I was even going to say this, is that I actually dealt with my issues myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I chose to deal with mine with medication. I seek counseling through the VA. You know what I'm saying? Still going through that process. It's not an easy thing to talk about.
Absolutely.
You know, because other people kind of didn't know. There's a commercial that comes on that always trips me out because it reminds me of me. It's like a person will be walking around and they be doing their everyday activities and they had a little face on that they that they showing the people, but they really feeling a whole nother way inside.
Absolutely.
And that shit actually it flips like a switch, because you could be here one minute and then just out of nowhere you'll have that crash. You know what I mean? And I've dealt with that for years, and I showed it to be normal. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, it took losing relationships, divorces, and everything else to realize that there was something in me that I needed to get fixed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
I would come around the fellas, and to y'all I'm just Dre, but in the house is a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? People are good with masking what they really deal with, especially when they're around they male peers. You know what I'm saying? You know, he just one of the guys. There's ain't nothing wrong with Dre, but it was the total opposite.
Yeah.
So I actually appreciate you for doing that type work, bro. Like real rap.
Thank you. Yeah. And so this is the thing. You know me, right? And you know I was stabbed, right? At Supermax.
Right.
Dealt with some trauma, of course. There's going to be Monday morning quarterback.
Right.
And presented with medication, I wasn't educated enough to do it. So I suffered with nightmares, some depression, and stuff like that for a while. And it might have took me longer than it probably would have took me to get over it if I, did the medicine.
So initially, what you saying, you was opposed to medication?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, it's an education thing.
We men, right? Could I be honest?
Yeah.
We could talk, right? We family, and whoever out there, if you watch
you're
us,
not just talking.
But see, that's what we try to capture here. Right. It's like it's just us talking. It's like damn the camera.
Right.
We just sitting down chopping it up, right? My issue with, and I'm just keeping it a buck. My issue with my medication was it gave me sexual side effects.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Good.
So you on that scale, like, look, do you want to tear this ass up, or do you want to be smiling tomorrow? Which one you want to do?
So,
you know what I'm saying?
So I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm just being 100, bro.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have experienced that, sexual side effects, things of that nature, right? The main thing is when you're doing follow-ups with people is to talk about the symptoms.
Yeah.
Because most people would be afraid to say, hey, I'm having sexual side effects.
Right. I didn't even know that's what it was at first, bro.
Yeah.
I ain't even put it together.
When I introduce a medicine to somebody, I explain that to them, right? And then there are other options. There are a lot of other medicines that don't have the sexual side effect. So if I have somebody that experience that, everything is a risk versus benefit, right?
Right.
If you're suicidal and I put you on some medicine and then you're not suicidal no more, now you got to decide if I want to have sex.
Right.
However, there are other options. There's so many other options that you can use something that does not cause that sexual side effect.
Yeah.
But, and I ask people, like, any side effects, and if you're honest and you're open with your provider, they can tell you and they can move you to something different that may help with those symptoms. Again, most people are going to be turned off by that.
Oh, I know I was. It was a huge problem.
They're going to be turned off.
Yeah.
However, it's really a therapeutic alliance. When I meet with people, I really what we call join, right? First few minutes, ask them what they like to do. And most people that you talk to, you find something similar in it, and then you let them know what you like to do as far as hobbies and interests. Like I like to travel. I've played video games. I've done a lot of things. So in doing that, they feel there's some comfortability and some familiarity with you that they can talk and be open with you, right? And again, it's a partnership. Right. I'm never going to say to anybody, "You need this, take it." I'm gonna give them a suggestion. I'm gonna give them the education behind it, and then it's informed decision, right? Because they had to take the medicine, and they had to come back and report it to me with their experience.
Right.
Right.
They got to be honest with you about it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing I dealt with a lot. I ain't trying to make this into a counseling me session, but again, this kind of flows out. I mean, I'm kind of an open book, man. I ain't know if I wanted to put that out there, but the sleep paralysis. That's basically when you sleep and you aware of everything that's going on and you fucking can't move. And I dealt with that shit a lot, bro. But that was my post-trauma from dealing with the PTSD. But most of my stuff came military versus I didn't have the trauma that you experienced in the jail. Mine more came military side. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was a tough thing for me to deal with too, man. It was to the point I didn't want to sleep by myself, bro. Like I ain't know if I would wake up from that shit. That shit was like scary as hell, man.
And so in our community, about 33% of people have dealt with trauma, right? But what do you know about us? We're very resilient, right? Where you have people who had some severe trauma and who are thriving every day, right? However, if it's to the point where you can't care for yourself, it's affecting you every day, it's all about quality of life. And so there are options for you. That's the main thing I'm here to say, is that there are options for you that you can get the help you need. Right. One of the main things you can do is the National Alliance of Mental Illness, which is NAMI, NAMI.org. You can go in there. There are all kinds of resources for you, all kinds of things that can help you. We talk about interventions, right? So some interventions are, some people like to use deep breathing, some people like to exercise, some people like to meditate. So there are a lot of options as far as intervention. And I like to say, find something you enjoy doing and to take the time to do it. It's as simple as that. So if you enjoy doing something, take the time to do it. But try some of those interventions that I mentioned, because they can help you when you're having issues. And everything, is different for other people. Like meditation for me, when I tried it the first time, fell asleep, boom, I love it. Okay? Exercising, that helps you as far as your physical health, that helps you with your mental health. It gives you natural endorphins, and it keeps the weight off. So that's fourfold. So exercising is another great one. So there are a lot of interventions. The first thing is to try to figure out what works for you and do it.
Is the CBD, is that a treatment for mental health? That's just a question. That's just a question.
Great question. Yeah. Not enough research.
Still my question.
In marijuana, right? There's not enough research in marijuana and CBD products of that nature. The issue with using marijuana to treat serious trauma and serious diagnosis, it doesn't make the symptoms better.
Okay.
What it does is it masks the symptoms, right? And then once the weed wears off, the symptoms are still there. Right? And then what happens with that is people abuse it and try to get stoned, and then it really doesn't work. Right. So there's not enough research on it. I know it definitely probably helps for people with pain and stuff like that, but for trauma or bipolar disorder, it's not going to do the work. It's not going to do it.
So that was my question. So, like in the world we live in now, they say CBD good for everything. So, in reference to that, when you say like medication, in the world we live in now, and basically like everybody being like vegan or holistic, like some people from your profession, they don't recommend any holistic remedies. Like, 'cause they be like, you can mix this root with this root and this plant and this vegetable and mix it together and it'll do this.
So I do know some people that do holistic stuff. One of my mentors, actually, I wish I listened to her. She bought into a weed farm, right? And so she's probably doing very well, and she's always used holistic, things to treat people as well. The issues with it is it's kind of the same. Like some people use what is called St. John's wort, right? That's something that people will use for depression. However, you can't regulate it as much, right? And so the difference with prescription medication is regulated through the FDA, and so and then there are clinical trials, and that's what I said. There's enough research. So clinical trials mean if they'll take 100 people, right? They'll give 50 a product. They'll give 50 and don't give them a product, right?
Placebo.
And they'll what we call a placebo, right? And they'll compare their progress over some weeks to months to years, right? And so that's what I mean by nursing research or showing research that stuff works. And then I also have my own research and stuff that I've given people and they've gotten better like this, right? And I'm going to use those, start with those, especially if they have a less side effect profile, and then go forward. My key, or the key to any individualized treatment, is to treat the most symptoms with the least amount of medication, right? And then there's less likely for side effects.
Right. Yeah. That's what's up. That's some good information, man.
So as long as you've been doing this, do you find it hard for men to just come to you and be like, dog, I need help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or is it
especially black men?
Or let me phrase it. Do you have more men or more black men come to you and ask for help, or they come to you via referral?
So depending on where I work, my practice mostly is for referral. I have worked in hospitals. I worked at Harvard, Northwest. So I've gotten referrals, and I've worked at Shepherd Pratt, of course, and University of Maryland. And I've gotten referrals. So most of people are, the other two practices I work, basically people are looking, they're looking for a provider, they find them, and they just come in, right? Now I work at a practice on Park Heights and Garrison, middle of the hood. Probably will never quit, because again, they need to see me coming in there and treating them, and they deserve great treatment, and I'm going to do the best I can do, right? And I have a great background to help them, and I have a great network to help them, because I don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers,
right?
But I got a lot of mentors and resources that I can go to help people if I don't know the answer. And that's the main thing, it's just to help people. And the help's readily available. Like, Maryland changed the law where nurse practitioners such as myself can be medical directors. And so it expanded, or it gave more accessibility to mental health. And so there are a lot of practices out here. Of course, when you're looking for a practice, look for somebody with longevity, look for reviews, look for word of mouth, things of that nature, because then you may have some that pop up and they pop out where they don't do the work, right? Places I work, where I'm at, we doing work. I'm about doing work.
Mm. Yeah. And what's crazy to me is, man, you think, well, I used to have a mentality of like people that's wealthy or well off, they wouldn't really experience this type of thing, because what they got to be worried about, they got everything they want. For an example, back in the day, Robin Williams, Junior Seau from football, but that's probably more CTE.
Right.
Shoot, look at the golf. The guy that just put the golf that just killed himself.
The golfer that just killed himself.
Yeah.
So just because a person may be famous or they're wealthy doesn't mean that they don't deal with the same stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So again, it's a double-edged sword, right? So we grew up in, impoverished. I grew up in impoverished conditions.
We all did.
Dealing with,
I did.
Again, serious
stuff.
I did too. Right. I know Ron got silver spoons.
Yeah, silver spoons.
Again, we're resilient people.
Right.
Right. And I never. Well, everybody has the ability to get better. Right. They need the motivation. and then they have the basics we call Maslow hierarchy of need, right? The basics are food, clothing, housing, safety. They need those basics, right? Before they can get to self-actualization, which is that thriving. Okay. So they need the basics first, right? And so you got to meet people where they are. If they don't have the basics, you try to give them resources to get the basics, right? All the while you're poking and prodding and helping, right? Because a lot of people have negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are, I can fill a glass and I'll fill it halfway. A lot of people will look at it as empty.
It's almost empty, yeah.
And then a lot of people will look at it as
full.
Right? Yeah. That's the difference with mental health. Yeah. If you have lived a life of having negative thoughts, you have to rewire that. And that's why therapy is great for that. Yeah. Right? I can sit here and talk to somebody and I can hear negative thoughts when they say, I never amount to nothing. I'll never do this. And when I do that, I can hear it, but the goal is to get them to understand the negative thought.
Right.
To replace it with a positive
That's
thought.
this natural behavior to them. They don't even realize they're doing it.
Right. And so, for instance, let's say for somebody with trauma, right? They've been in a car accident. Now they're fearful to drive, right? How many times you jumped in the car and driven and didn't get in an accident, right? And so that's replacing it with a rational thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I trip off of though, like, like two people could come from the exact same environment. If it's a bad environment, came up in poverty or whatever the case may be, and they could take two different routes, two totally different routes.
Yeah.
It also play on what's in the person too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm kind of speaking on my own experience of how I came up in the route I took and the route that some of my loved ones took. You know what I mean? So
it's funny because Trading Places is one of my favorite movies, right? And that's just a chemical experience on how people would do in the wood environment, right? Marcus will tell you, I grew up in an environment where everybody used drugs, right? And I was the youngest one. But when he asked me, I would always say no. To the point where they wouldn't even ask me anymore.
Right.
They would always say him winning.
Yeah. You got people that's going to draw to it, and you got people that's going to move away from it.
And I didn't expound on, I forgot to mention, when you were talking about suicide, right? I used to think that all suicides can be prevented. Right. That was my thinking. And then I read a soldier's story, right? If you haven't, read it, please. And it gave me a different outlook on it. Yeah. However, again, it's the motivation to get better and doing the work to get better. Yeah. And the main thing is people have to have a reason or will for living.
Right. Like, I think if a person really want to do it, you could prolong it, but you ain't going to stop it. Like they used to tell us down in jail, if you had the means, the opportunity, and what was the other one? The wills, the means, and the opportunity. You're going to do it.
Right. So, women will have more suicidal thoughts than men. But men will commit suicide at a higher rate.
Right. Yeah, they're more aggressive. Right.
You just said it, right?
Yeah.
Because
I went to the same classes.
Men will do violent stuff.
Right.
Like,
they go gun,
women
doing like cut herself or something, or take pills. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So, again, women might have more tendency to have suicidal thoughts, and sometimes they're crying for help. But men, when they get their mindset on doing it, they do violent things to do it.
Right.
Before it gets to that point, get the help. Get the help. Figure out what you need as far as moving forward. Looking for your purpose. That's the main thing, is understanding your purpose moving forward. As long as you got a perfect purpose, you got a reason to live.
So in our belief, when we took like the little, it wasn't much training on it, but like the little psychology class or whatever, we was taught, as far as like responding to a call for suicide, that we were taught that suicide is always an option. Yeah. We were taught that.
It is. And so in the jail.
Wait, hold on. Excuse me. Suicide for y'all or suicide for
them? For them.
It's like, they tell y'all go ahead and kill yourself. I was playing. I was fucking around. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
So it is. And so and again, we came from jails, right? So in jails, they take your shoestrings, they take your belt. They taking it again.
Yeah.
That is most of the time when people get locked up, especially initially. That is the most vulnerable time for them. So when they're in booking, they don't have all that stuff because they want to make sure that they don't try to commit suicide. And Dre tell you, if they were suicidal, we take their clothes to the point where they had paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ain't had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, bro.
They could have just ate the paper and like died.
Well, I don't think they would die from that, but still, you know.
So, yeah, that's crazy, man.
So what made you when you said you was gonna follow this path at the corrections, what made you decide to take the mental health path instead of just the regular, like, general medicine?
Man, it's all God, for real. Okay. So I originally went to Morgan to be a physician. Went to Morgan. I was a medical technology major. I was Mr. Medical Technology. Right. I was a club president. Right.
You look like you was a club president.
I had a full ride. Right. But I was living in real life where I had to work, provide for children, couldn't do the campus stuff, wasn't staying on campus. Right. And then a good friend of mine came to me and said, he was in the military. He was in the Army. He came to me and said, Quinton, come get this money. Come get this GI Bill money. Which I probably didn't need, but I went and got it. Mm-hmm. And then when I got back, my schedule was thrown. I had another kid. And so I had to make some real life choices and decisions. And so I went to corrections. I had credits and all, but I went to corrections and started doing that. And I did that until my retirement in 2007. And I said I'm not doing the jail anymore. So what am I do? So I decided to go back to school for nursing, and I went the lowest common denominator to a LPN program, just to make sure I liked it. I went, and I worked at some of the worst nursing homes on the planet. But when I looked around, I said, these people need you. They need somebody who's going to give them the medication they're supposed to need, give them the care and compassion they need. And so that was my first introduction to mental health, dealing with people with like Alzheimer's, mental health issues, schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, depression. And so I did that for a few years. I went back to school, got my RN. While I was in RN school, I worked on a dementia unit for like a whole year on weekends only. Locked door, and I was comfortable with that. Locked door from jail. So I was comfortable with the environment. Fast forward, I get my RN, I'm looking for jobs, and it's like, oh, he's a new nurse, it's hard to find a job. And a friend says, hey, call Shepherd Pratt. And my thought was, I always wanted to be do nurses anesthesists, which was like anesthesia. I always thought I wanted to do that. However, you needed a background to do that. So I applied for Shepherd Pratt and got a job at Shepherd Pratt. Same thing, locked door. Shepherd Pratt is one of the best facilities on the East Coast, if not the United States, and they're kind of the blueprint for mental health. Mm. And so I did that. I moved around, and then I said, there's more. And so I went back to school at University of Maryland to get my MP.
So you said you worked at some of the worst nursing homes. You ever worked at the Ravenwood? Remember Ravenwood?
I think Ravenwood probably.
Franklin.
I think Ravenwood is probably better than the places I've worked.
Shit.
Yes.
Dude, that used to be my post, bro. That job was horrible.
Absolutely. So for instance, the first place I worked, the weekend supervisors worked at Ravenwood. They worked there. And I was surprised because LPNs, even though they're LPNs, a lot of them were making six figures. And I mean, it took them overtime to do it, but they were doing it, right? And to me, it's your purpose shows, right? Because how you treat people shows, right? And so sometimes some people might be about a bag, but it's about the people that need the treatment. That's what it's really about.
That's real.
Dog, it was nursing homes worse than the Ravenwood, bro.
Let me say this. One place
That
I
joke was
worked,
a dump, bro.
I was supposed to have a medic tech. Like the numbers in Maryland are 20 to 1, right? That's the most that I can do. I had 30 something people and I wouldn't have a med tech sometimes and I would have to pass medicine to 33 people. But you know what? All 33 of them got their medicine. I don't care how long it took me. So,
What's up, bro?
you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, you know. And again, same thing. Like these people deserve the treatment that they're supposed to get, and I'm gonna give it to them.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good, yo. That was a nice little segment, man.
I know. See,
Educational.
I ain't know Q was smart, bro.
Yeah, man. Stay Smoky TV, man. We versatile, bro.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Podcast Spike Lee. That's me.
Get out of here, man. Well, you know, you got anything else on the mental health aspect?
I
man?
talked about the, health. Again, Myers Health and Wellness LLC. You can always reach out to me. I talked about Maslow. How I want to normalize anxiety because
Got his notes.
anxiety people deal with, right? So you have good anxiety,
Yes, indeed.
bad anxiety.
Hold up,
right?
before you get into that. I'm a person, right? You can ask my wife. You can ask people. Dog, I tell people, I know I'm probably wrong, but I say it all the time. I be like, dude, black people don't have anxiety.
Shitting me.
Dog, I tell people that shit all the time. I'm like, where you got anxiety from? You ain't did nothing.
See, I'm glad you said that. Okay, so growing
Shitting
up, right?
Right.
And I want you to think about it. Anybody in your family with mental health issues, they were shunned upon. They were pushed aside, cast aside.
Crazy uncle.
Crazy. There you go.
Right.
And that's what it was.
Right.
Right.
Just locked in their room.
That's what it was.
Right.
However, again, normalizing, right? Understanding
crazy
that,
that you said that.
these people are they're people like us.
Right.
There are people, their diagnosis doesn't define who they are. Their diagnosis means what they need help with.
Bro, like you saying that family member piece, I know you got more to what you're saying, but that's real, yo, because I had a family member who was special needs or whatever, and you had people in my family who would actually say, stop acting retarded. I don't mean to use that word, but that's what they would say. Stop acting retarded. Like, how the hell could you tell somebody that?
Man,
That was
I hear people telling people, like, what you got to be depressed for? Right?
Right. Yeah.
I hear people say that to people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It was said to me, bro.
well, and that's the thing. Is what I've seen in doing this business is the progression of us getting help. Right? And I'm always going to normalize it that we can get help. Right? Without, it's a stigma. Right? Well, I mean, it honestly is no shame to getting help. It's about quality of life.
Right.
It's about I can try to maintain with these symptoms, which they're beating me up, where I can go get help and improve the symptoms, and I can get to self-actualization and get better and move forward. And that's what it's always about.
Yeah.
And so that's why I said I want to normalize anxiety, because everybody has anxiety, right? It's just how you deal with it. There's good anxiety, like test taking, like this, public speaking, right? I'm not good at this, right?
Shitting me.
I'm not, right? There's a certain level of anxiety that's going to come with that. However, that forces you, especially like test taking, to prepare, to decrease the anxiety and to get past it, right? And when you have anxiety, sometimes I go to the Bible sometimes. You might got to do that. Ephesians 4, 4 and 6, right? About anxiety, right? You pray about it, you hand it over and go from there, right? And so sometimes it's prioritizing. I got this. You got to do what you need to do right away, and then everything else you can add on after you do it, right? Checklist, that's another intervention, right? I got a list of stuff I got to do. You make a checklist. Boom. You start with the most pressing thought or need. You deal with that. You check it off. You get some feelings of accomplishment, and then you go down the list, right? And so those are ways to decrease the anxiety, right?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like back on a depression piece, when you say people say, what you got to be depressed about, man. You can have everything you want materialistically. You can have the amount of money that you need to have in the bank to sustain yourself. Your kids could be good. Your parents could be good. Everything in your life could be good, bro. But you still ain't right.
But y'all bringing stuff out of me because
because I understand it because I lived it, bro. Like yo, like it bothers you, yo. Like it's like yo, something still ain't right. Yeah, and you accomplish, yo. I literally accomplished every single one of my short-term goals and long-term goals, and it was still a void.
There you go.
And it was still a void.
You know what it was? We wasn't friends yet. We friends now.
Possibly, bro. Possibly.
So again, that's the purpose that I'm talking about,
right.
That's the purpose. But the reason I say this is because you guys make it easy because you bring up stuff that I want to talk about or need to talk about.
Right.
So, again, self-actualization. It takes mind, body, physical health, and spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, your body, if you got chronic pain, right, and you're in pain every day, people are going to be depressed.
Right.
They ain't going to want to get out of bed.
Right.
Yeah, right? That's some shit to wake up to every day.
You need to deal with that.
Right.
That needs to be dealt with before you can move forward.
Especially if it's causing any type of deformities, then people, they don't want you to see them.
Right.
They don't want to go around folks. They don't want to do nothing.
Right.
You know
so
what I'm
you got
saying?
to deal with the medical aspect.
Right.
You got to deal with the mental health aspect. And then the spiritual aspect is very important as well. You know. And I ain't saying, of course, I'm a Christian, but I'm not saying that you got to be a Christian. But you should be moving towards self-actualization, which is pride. That's the main thing.
Right. Right. So, like this episode is probably one of the more realist episodes and probably less entertaining to people, but it's something that people need to hear. You know what I mean? It's something as black men we need to sit down and be able to talk about. This is something we should be able to talk about other than, yo, we doing a podcast and let this be the topic. You know what I mean? Because just to keep it 100, if we was just sitting here in the sanctuary kicking it, we wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll be talking about sports or, you know, whatever, this cigar, this bourbon, whatever. You know what I mean? This would never be a topic. I mean, in your world it may be because you live it. You know what I mean? But me, if I'm going through something or if I'm experiencing some certain type of anxiety, I'm bringing his emotions up. He ain't know I was fucked up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm gonna be alright, yo. I ain't gonna kill myself, yo. I'm gonna be alright, yo.
It's so great. You see, that's what I mean. Dre, yo, you pull stuff out. I didn't talk about the elephant in the room. Okay. Smoking, drinking, right? Of course, kind of bad for your body, right? In moderation.
Yeah.
Right? I had somebody ask me tonight. They going on vacation, right? And they wanted to know if they can drink with the medicine they take. Man, live your life, but in moderation. Don't go out here and get wasted.
Yeah.
Take it separate from your medicine, you know, but live your life. Because people going to do what they need to do to move forward.
Right.
You know, you got people who have diabetes, right? And they like stuff. Or people with lung cancer and still got to smoke, right? That's their life. That's their quality of life. So you can't really ever judge anybody's quality of life, right? It's just doing stuff in moderation, you know. Yeah. When the pandemic first happened, I might have been in my garage smoking, train smoking.
Dang.
But then I said, hey, I can't do this, right? I got to do something a little bit more productive. And what I started doing was I started hiking. I ain't never hiked a day in my life. I ran, of course, in the military, you ran.
Right.
I ain't never hiked any of that, right? Hiking got me out of the house, enjoying the weather. And when I found out Maryland had some of the best trails around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got beautiful scenery. I'm exercising. I'm doing something different. And I like it.
Getting good fresh air. Vitamin D.
And so it's reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
I hated telehealth. I didn't like it because you miss a lot of social cues doing it.
Yeah.
But when the pandemic happened, you had to do it.
Had to do it.
I went from seeing people in person to, damn, I got to form a plan to see people, right? And again, it's more readily available and more people were, you know, having issues because of the pandemic, right? However, the reason it's still here is because there's good and bad to everything.
Right.
So people would take a whole day off of work to come see me for 15 minutes, right, for an appointment. So you had a lot of no-shows. Now, I talk to people, they at work. They on their lunch break talking to me.
Right.
You know, and so telehealth is here. It's here to stay.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I do. Yeah, I call my people now, and that's one of the first things they ask me: do you want to come in the office or do you want to do it on the Zoom?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And some people they like that in-person interaction. And I'm old school. I still go in the one practice I work on Thursdays, I'm there every Thursday. The one practice I work today, I work in person 1 day a month. My practice, I work one in person 1 day a month. So that way people still have the option to see in person too.
Yeah.
So what about if people have issues like after business hours?
Great question. Great question. So I've worked in hospitals, right? So if someone is in crisis, they can call 988, right? So it's easy to remember.
Is that nationwide?
Nationwide, okay. 988, right? So 911 for emergency, for mental health emergency, 988. You also have crisis walk-in clinics. Shepherd Pratt has a crisis walk-in clinic. There's one in Bel Air called Klein Family Crisis. If someone's in crisis, they can go into those clinics, get evaluated, and then they can determine if you need to be inpatient or not. And then, last but not least, they can go to any hospital ER, right? Hospital ERs, they have people that can evaluate them, and if the hospital doesn't have a psych ward, they can transfer them to a place where they need to go.
That's what's up. That's good info.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. And then, of course, if they're seeing a provider, they should call their provider for an earlier appointment.
Right. My provider, if you call them and they tell you if you're having a crisis to call a certain 1-800 number.
Right. So most outpatient programs don't have the emergency piece, and so they leave that there. But the providers let them know about the options that people have.
Right.
And those are options that you have. The main thing, again, is maintaining life and getting better. People complain about going to the hospital. I've worked at the hospital. I've done some of my best work in hospitals. Is where they can come in suicidal after a suicide attempt, and you can build them up a week later, they're getting discharged. And as long as they're continuing care, they're going to continue to improve. That's the main thing, is continue to improve. You also have long-acting injections, all right, depending on your diagnosis. You have long-acting injections that you can take, and that's one of the reasons why I go in monthly, is that you can give an injection where they don't have to take medicine orally, and it's in their system for the whole month, and that tells you that it's going to be in their system for a whole month, and there's less likelihood that they'll have a decompensation, right, or episode, right?
So, we discussed a lot, man, and I think the biggest takeaway from this, if people don't take anything else from it, is, you have outlets. You can talk to your boys, man. It ain't, I know we in this age of the no Diddy and all this stuff that people say and shit, right? But like, I really feel like I had a type of home. Man, Ron, we probably 95% of the time on joke time. Mm-hmm. But like real life, I feel like even though he didn't know this shit about me till probably just now, I feel like if I was really in a dark place, I could call him like, yo, could I come up to the sanctuary? And if him and his wife ain't doing nothing, bro, come on through. Even if I was like, yo, I need you, he probably still say, come on through.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I feel that way about Black. If I hit Black, yo, I'm going through some shit. Mm-hmm. Yo, where you at? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
and then you got another one too. You got
yeah. I got your number.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He gonna charge you though. He gonna bill your insurance.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've never done it. To Talib, I've done it to Talib,
right.
But I never really threw a branch out, like, rescue me. Fortunately, I never felt like I really needed to either.
Which is great.
You know what I mean? But
so what we call that is accountability partner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so most people, everybody probably should have a therapist. If not, cool.
Right.
But you need an accountability partner.
I mean, shit, I called you on some shit.
Right.
I said, bro, let me run this by.
Right.
That's accountability. Right. So,
I done called you too. Yeah, I done called you too. Like, yo, I'm
say
talking
you
about
tripping, or you're not. Right. And so that's what the accountability part does.
But and really knowing your boys, man, you kind of get that. Well, I kind of get that sense of like, yo, where you at? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna come fuck with you. Let's go get a drink, or let's meet me at the cigar lounge, or I'm gonna meet you at the house. Something. Yeah. You know when your boys sound off.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Again, that's the whole point of you. You know, it's somebody you got a relationship with, one, and that you can trust talking with. Yeah. Right? And so, accountability partners are very important. Absolutely.
Right, man. So, again, man, if y'all going through something, man, talk to somebody. There's outlets out here, you know, for you to talk to people. You ain't got to feel like I said, the no diddy and all that crazy stuff that's going on, man. You know, you mean a lot to somebody. Somebody don't want you to leave here if you having those type of thoughts of taking yourself out or some shit like that, yo. Like, please talk to somebody. And so I'll leave it like that.
When I talked about purpose, right? Right. So even if somebody say, hey, I'm having suicidal thoughts, right? And my assessment is to make sure that they got a purpose. Right? Everybody should be able to name one thing they living for, easily.
Especially if you got children.
One thing, easily. Children, right? That's the first thing most people say. Children, faith, you know, I'm looking towards getting a new job. Okay. They got hope, right? And so it starts there. It's having a purpose. You know, a main thing is purpose for living.
Yeah. Well, this was a good segment, man. But I'm almost out, so we can get into.
I must be smoking slow.
Yeah. Well, you've been rapping, bro. You've been dropping signs.
You've been talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah. You've been dropping signs, bro. Like people really need to watch this episode and get some knowledge, man. Whether they're dealing with things or they have a loved one dealing with things, man. They should watch this, man, and take down some information and get the help that they need.
Man, I'm blessed just to be able to help people, be a vehicle to help people. I get immense joy in seeing people get better, moving forward. Again, I don't have all the answers.
That takes special people, man, because I don't have that.
I don't have all the answers.
I don't have the patience.
I listen, like I'm a listener. I'm a rational thinker, but I
ain't got the patience.
I think.
You think.
Some people probably say otherwise.
Yeah. You think. All right, so what you got, bro?
You've been seeing a lot of stuff on the streets of Baltimore.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I know you did. Yeah.
Well, having the professions that we all had,
right?
You know, we done seen some things. Being in the military, you done seen some things. So, you know, I tell people it's not possible for a person to go in the military and have any type of deployment and come back the same person that you were. Mm-hmm. It's not possible. Well, it's not possible to work the jail and work it for 20-some years and come away from it the same person that you was when you started. It's not possible.
I didn't have any severe deployments in the military. However, even basic training,
right? That's trauma, bro.
Make you challenge why you here. Right. They kill. They make you challenge why you here and who you are. You know, and all of it is just a thing to try to build you for teamwork. And so eventually I got that. Yeah. It was about teamwork, that you're only strong as your weakest link. Yeah. And I took the discipline from it. So you take the good from stuff. Yeah. And I took the good from stuff. The exercise and things of that nature. You know, trying to max out PT tests. I took all the good stuff from the military.
But see, a lot of people don't. Yeah. A lot of people take the negative.
Yeah.
You can't train a person to be a killer, and then when they contract over and say you ain't a killer no more, They don't work like that, bro.
Man, I'm gonna tell you,
you turn that switch on.
Yeah. It's no turning that shit off, bro.
And this is the thing, because I deal with some people who's been in the military, it changed their whole way of thinking.
Right. How you interact with people. A lot of people tell me I'm too aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, law enforcement desensitized me because I feel like I look. What the fuck you crying for? Like, there ain't nothing to cry about. Like, you know, but that shit affected them. It don't affect me no more because, I mean, I done seen tons of dead bodies. You know, when people get shot, and stabbed. And all
I
that
mean,
stuff, so.
man, in jail was a total different lingo.
Yeah.
You walk out of there. Well, literally, I was a Supermax 7 years, and I was on a gun range. I was locked up for 3 years because I worked so much overtime that I was in jail.
Right, more than you was at
couldn't
home.
bring stuff in. You couldn't take stuff out.
You couldn't leave out.
Yeah. So it changes your mentality.
Yeah, it do, bro.
It really changes your mentality. You know.
If you can't go from this area to that area without nobody allowing it, that shit does something to you, bro.
Absolutely. And yeah, we got to go home, but still, again, while we're there, you know, we were gatekeepers, and we were locked up too.
Yeah, you kind of have to take on a mentality that they have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can't. I hate to use the word soft, but you can't be a gentle soul dealing with certain type of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to be kind of aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you, like you said, you doing that for 16 hours. Then you come home to the missus, you come home to the kids. That don't go away right away. You know what I mean?
So you just brought up something else, right? You need, depending on your profession, you need a period of decompression, especially leaving the jail. 16 hours. You might need to sit in your car for an hour before you deal with your
Listen to
family.
some music, smoke a cigar.
Yeah, you might need to really decompress. And so some mates don't understand that. And you need to explain that to them. Like, look, I need a period where you ain't talking to me.
Right.
Like, you come in the house and mate,
right? I'm still on go. Yeah, I'm still on go. Yeah.
I need to come down.
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, it's communication. It's really communication, you know.
Yeah. I appreciate you giving us this information today, man.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, I thank for the invite, man.
Yeah, and this was absolutely the realest one, bro. Like real rap.
Indeed, I agree. You welcome.
I mean, hey, bro. Hey, man.
You know I'm gonna take credit for all.
So anyway, man.
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and come up and Stay Smoking TV on YouTube. And don't forget about our giveaway on our Instagram page.
And again, Myers Health and Wellness.com. You can reach me there. MYERS Health and Wellness.com if you need help.
Okay.
So the day I broke out the Tiger Lily. Started off a little rough for me. It kind of mellowed out like the first quarter or so. Now I'm really getting into it. It's a good smoke.
And it's got 3 rappers on it because it's a barber pole, like a kind of.
I like
yeah. So
no Diddy.
I like it.
So
This guy.
I think I liked it, man. I'll give it 3.5 straight up, man. With the sauce.
With the hot sauce?
With the sauce, it could get a 4 with the sauce.
Okay. All right.
Oh well, this Padron Black 97. It goes without saying. This a 5 across the board.
Yeah.
But you probably made it worse with that shit.
Beautiful same.
That shit probably took it down to a 2.
At least every R
I like
here
it. I like it.
That
fire.
shit is disgusting.
I like it. I like it.
Dre Palin didn't get up there yet, bro. We still working on him.
And
He's still
He
on the.
still got that riches in his blood.
So my parents great, and of course any free cigar is great. But this is great, man. I would probably give it a 4.5
With the sauce?
I give it a 5 out of 10. I give it. It's a good smoke.
Okay.
I give it a good smoke.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So what we got coming up, Ron, before we close out? You'll be gone this week. You going to the fight?
Yeah, I'm going to Vegas for the fight.
I probably had a big screen out somewhere.
A couple lounges out there, pop in. You know, my fight partner, not gonna be where we was hanging out in DC. My fight partner not gonna be there with me.
Oh man, what a time!
Yeah,
that's all I can say. Ron almost tempted me to go out there this week. He had me close. But
any predictions on the fight?
Tank all day.
What you say?
Like you say, Baltimore,
baby.
I like boxing a lot, and Tank is probably my favorite fighter, really, because he's electric. I like UFC actually. Another thing during the pandemic. Yeah. That was the only thing working.
The only thing going. Yeah.
And it was on every week.
Yeah.
Empty arenas.
Yeah.
And I like the action
Yeah.
And so UFC is my favorite, but Tank, he's up there. And
I'll
he's
say
definitely
this.
going to win. Yeah.
I like Tank to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Martin pull it out. I wouldn't be surprised.
Like with a knockout, or he ain't gonna win by
Outpoint
decision.
him. Outpoint him.
You think you can
Outpoint
beat him by decision?
I think he can. I think it's possible.
So what's funny
I think it's possible.
is the Garcia Haney fight. Right.
They ain't get paid yet.
Well, no. Well,
They didn't.
I
They
mean,
didn't. Right, I know.
and so I went against the odds and took Garcia.
Well,
Me too.
Like
Me too.
if I go to a fight like
He'll tell
Vegas
you.
or whatever, I always take the underdog because it pay out.
Exactly.
It's just because it pay out.
Well, my thing was he's overweight. I used to wrestle in high school, and so I used to, cut weight, and so the guy couldn't make the weight. And then he got a exemption from weight. So this dude gonna come in here 20 pounds overweight, right? So he came in 20 pounds probably overweight, fresh, and then they say he got performance enhancing drugs. I don't care. I want to bet, but he had something to fight for, and it was impressive. I was really impressed with that fight.
Okay, even if he used performance enhancing drugs, right? It still says a lot to me that Haney couldn't stop that fucking left hook, and that's all he had.
He beat Haney.
So it's something to say. It's something to be said about that part.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he was blocking a punch and it was still rocking him. He was getting caught clean with that mofo continuously.
Well, you know I can talk sports, and so
You can talk everything, but go ahead, bro.
But that that Fury,
Oh
Uso
man,
fight,
yeah,
right?
man.
I took even though Fury never lost, right? But
Neither
I
one of
took
them
him
did.
to knock him out, and he knocked him out because he was out on the ropes, and I thought they was calling the fight, and he got
He had
got
Fury.
over.
He had Fury.
Fury was done, man.
Hold on, what about y'all cousin Adrian Broner?
He got his chicklet knocked out, yo.
He
But-
said he thought he won the fight, bro.
He say that after
I'm
the
gonna
fight.
give him a credit. I mean, the reason I'm gonna give him a credit, you was at the was you at the Tank fight in Baltimore?
I was.
I know you were.
Yes,
I
you
was-
was.
I was
thought
away.
You said you was.
No, we was in D.C., not the one that
No,
was
I'm talking about the one in
The one in
The one
Baltimore.
in Baltimore was actually on my birthday that year, and I was gone.
So
I was
the one
there.
in Baltimore, I was there,
Right.
right? Electric atmosphere,
Yeah. A whole
was
lot of
standing
weed.
on a
Whole lot
chair.
of weed in there. Yeah.
right?
That's how I was in
Floyd,
D.C.
Floyd showed you what Baltimore was 'cause he ain't had no jewels on.
Nothing.
Right.
If he did, he had it
no
tucked.
jewels
If he
on.
did, he had it tucked.
He was totally humble. Now Broner was right across from me,
Yeah, he
and
ain't
he
give a
had
fuck.
his jewels on.
He ain't give a fuck.
He didn't care.
Yeah,
He
talking
was coming
shit.
to the bar.
Came in talking shit.
Yeah,
They said he was in
yeah,
the casino
yeah.
talking shit.
I like his vibe. I don't like his disrespect to some of the fighters, and you get what you get with disrespect. That's why he got beat like the other day. He was disrespectful to the guy.
I'm
And the
mad
guy-
that motherfucker still box under Don King, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
Don King been robbing
no,
motherfuckers for years.
that's the only promoter that will
91 years
promote him
old.
right now.
I like the fact that the dude still got it because that's what I noticed. He got his little emblem and stuff, and he's still promoting fights. And so I'm happy for him that he's still involved in doing stuff. But Broner might be done, man. I think he's done.
Yeah, he done. He done.
We're gonna talk about
Talk about your home girl. I know you want to talk
we ain't
about.
gonna talk about First Friday.
No, we ain't gonna talk about.
Hey Black, Sway and Dre. That's all I'm gonna say. Sway and Dre was in the building First Friday at Dance.
I didn't make it. I forgot I was
Yeah,
done.
you missed
Oh, I had a party Friday. That's why I ain't come through.
Yeah, Sway and Dre was in the building.
And then
doing
me
his
and
Sway
Dre were at the Mystics game Thursday.
Yeah.
And that was a time. I actually was in a suite, and it was all you can eat, all you can drink, all
Damn.
beer and wine. That's why I said I was shoving my face.
Yeah.
They had the McClellan 12 on board, $20 a shot, so I had a couple of those, and we had a time, man.
That's what's
and
up.
it was all for
Yeah, it was a good time.
Everybody
It was
there
a
for
nice
Angel.
crowd there. It was a nice crowd.
Everybody was there for Angel. Nice
Yeah.
crowd.
Yeah.
Nice
She did her
environment.
thing too.
Yeah, because the Mystics, the only team that still ain't win yet.
Yeah, Mystics
I'm
almost got him though.
I'm floored that they took that girl over Angel, and the girl actually outscored Angel and all that. However, the atmosphere
The draw
could
should've
be
been-
like that every game if Angel was there. So they should have drafted her.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna talk about Caitlin Clark this week,
Yeah, you better not.
even though she ain't make it to the Olympics. But I ain't gonna talk about her this week. So, anybody got anything else?
You ain't got nothing, bro. We ain't got motion because nephew ain't here.
Guess we see. I see y'all at the Vegas
Next episode,
Prediction on the game.
the youngest
Boston
in
stealing-
charge.
Boston stealing one.
I'm a Laker fan, but Boston.
I'm a Lakers fan too.
If Boston,
We all
don't
Lakers
win this-
fans.
Wait, hold on. Let me say this, yo. Because Hurley turned down a job, right?
Yeah.
If they hire J.J. Redick, I'm getting a divorce from the Lakers. If Bronny James comes to the Lakers, I'm divorcing the Lakers.
Why?
Because, yo,
They temporary.
yo,
bro.
no, yo. Because we a clown show now.
No, we're not.
We a clown show,
We're
bro.
the greatest show on earth. Just
Yo,
like
we're
Ringling
a
Brothers.
clown
Ringling
show.
Brothers is the
That's
greatest show
why
on earth,
I
which
never,
is the circus.
I never wanted
and the
LeBron
Lake
on our
show
team. Yo.
is the greatest show on
I
earth.
never wanted LeBron on our team because
Me
he
either.
got too much pull.
I don't like
And
LeBron.
everything that's happening is because he won it, and we're a fucking clown show. bro.
Well, the issue with the LeBron coming, right? Because it's gift and curse. We won a championship. However,
With an asterisk.
he discarded some good players.
Yeah.
Ingram,
Yeah.
what's my boy? Julius Randle.
Yeah.
That was the most egregious discard, right? Julius Randle, LeBron didn't want to bang with.
Even I would even say Ball.
Lonzo Ball should
Lonzo
have never been
is-
drafted.
Lonzo.
Why?
But no, before Lonzo got hurt, he was killing in Chicago.
He was nice.
He was
However,
killing in Chicago.
He shouldn't have been drafted. Why?
Why not?
I say he should have got
Because
drafted.
Tatum got drafted right behind him.
I was about
and
to
we
say,
should have got Tatum.
he shoulda- he shoulda-
He's 6'10" and can shoot threes.
I'll say he should have got drafted. Just not in the spot where he got
He
drafted
should
at.
not. We should not have drafted him. We should have drafted Tatum
Yeah.
and paired him with Ingram.
But
And
Tatum been
he
coming
had
up
the
missing.
work ethic.
Tatum been coming up missing in these finals.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He been coming up thanks to Jaylen Brown and Porzingis coming back. Is why they up 2-0. Because
Don't count the dude out.
Oh, you think we can
The
still
dude
win
was
in
under
Dallas?
Kobe's tutelage.
We still in one in Dallas?
I think they're gonna get one in Dallas. If
Awesome.
not two, they might get two in Dallas.
If they get two in Dallas, it's over.
They might. No, I'm talking about Dallas might get two in Dallas.
No, I'm talking about Boston.
No, Dallas
gonna
might
win.
get two in Dallas.
Boston's gonna win.
Dog, they beat them the other night.
It's 2-0.
Right, they
Yeah.
beat them the other night,
Right.
and they
Boston played better on the road.
but Boston played like shit and still won.
They
Right.
played
But-
better on the road.
But guess what though? Kyrie ain't really shown up yet.
He haven't, not at all.
Kyrie gonna ball out in Dallas.
Okay.
I think it,
Well,
I
the others got to show up. Likely.
role players always play better at home, bro.
They do. They absolutely do. It's the home cooking.
Yeah,
But they got to show up. Otherwise, it's over. It's over anyway, but it's over.
I think Boston gonna win, but I think
Yeah.
Dallas can still two
Yeah,
at
it
home.
might be six. Might be six.
Yeah, I think it might be
Yeah,
six.
and I hate to say it, Boston gonna win, and this was their last chance. They better win.
Yeah.
Well,
Because if they didn't-
it'd be two games before the next episode.
And if
so-
Giannis was right, they would.
Oh, we not doing next week?
No, it'll be next week. It's the game is what? It's two games. It's Wednesday and Friday.
Oh, I thought you were saying we wasn't doing the show.
No, I'm saying it's two games before the next episode.
Okay, yeah.
It's Wednesday and Friday. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Boston.
Hey, we might be
switch.
talking. Hey, next episode we might be announcing the NBA champion.
Yeah. Well, it's still about the Lakers. Hopefully, they get Jay right.
Hopefully it still be
was
about
it
the
James Borrego? That's what they really probably should hire. I didn't like the dog with him hire. I didn't like it, but they hired him. He did well. He got him to the finals.
Well, we gonna
They
see.
just weren't ready,
Well, yo, let's take a shot before we close this thing out.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again, Q, for coming, giving us this
Man,
information.
again,
Bye,
thanks for
bro.
the invite.
You need to move?
Yeah,
and,
please.
and schooling everybody out here on men's mental health
Hey, Q,
awareness.
you want to tell a story about how when we used to ride motorcycles at the park, you try to stand up on the bike like biker boys and fell? You don't want to tell that story?
Man.
We ain't gonna tell that story.
Hey, look, I had my issues on bikes, right?
We ain't
So-
gonna tell that story, Q.
So what was that? 2000.
You just told me.
That was 2007 that I got in a motorcycle accident, broke both my legs. It took me 5 years to get back on the bike.
No, when we was riding bikes,
My first bike was
it was like
Ninja.
01. It was 2000, 2001.
No.
When he tried to do the joint and stand up on the bike like the biker boys and ran into the stop sign and shit.
I don't remember that, but
You don't
it
remember
might
that?
have- it might have
Oh,
happened.
motherfucker, that shit happened. I remember that shit.
So listen, I had to teach myself how to ride a motorcycle. I started off with a little 500 Ninja, right?
Bro, exactly. And he tried to teach himself how to stand on a
I
bike
taught
before he was
myself how to
even
drive
nine.
it, right? I taught myself how to ride it. Then I had a 600. It took me 3 years to get a license. I was riding on a permit. went to the school, whatever, and then I got a hold of some power, the 900. That was my next bike, beautiful bike. And then I had the 750. That was a good bike. And then I had the 1400, which I got in an accident with. You know, Love Ninjas, Nam Harley, Team Harley.
All day.
That was my first bike.
All day.
That was my first bike after 5 years after the accident. And I had a Sportster that I turned into a chopper. And
when I'm Team BMX, I'm ready to get those little standy things on my shit.
Stay in your lane.
yeah, now I got that Road Glide.
That's
You know.
toast.
Toast.
Go ahead, Dre, with the toast.
The toast is to understanding men's mental health, man, and getting help, bro.
Indeed.
Indeed.
What we got?
The end of the episode.
The end of the episode. Stay Smoking TV.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.